Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Sarah Rothstein, and I am the high school principal here at Maranatha. I am so excited to welcome you all to campus in just a couple of weeks. And in order to do that, we thought that kind of presenting you with information about things that will be things to need to know would be helpful for you. So please use this as a guide. And of course, if you have any questions, my contact information will be on the slides at the end, and so feel free to reach out. So to get us started, just to ground us in who we are, our mission statement here is we are influential school of collaborators, innovators, and explorers grounded in Christian faith, empowering co-creators of tomorrow. Ultimately, we are a Christian school. We are grounded in our faith, and we are here to also come alongside your child as they pursue their own faith and also prepare them for what's next. Along that note, we pride ourselves in and really bringing that biblical worldview into the classroom. The way that we define biblical worldview, and I like what Dr. Jeff Myers from Summit Ministry says. He says a worldview is a pattern of ideas, beliefs, convictions, and habits that help make sense of God, the world, and our relationship to God and the world. Ultimately, as high schoolers, the thing that I feel is really cool about working with high schoolers is it's really an opportunity where students are starting to make their faith really their own, and giving them an opportunity within the classroom to see the world through the lens, through the Christian lens, and helping them to problem solve and work together, and really dive deeper into their own faith, I think is what helps sets us apart. A little bit about me. This is my family. I have my husband, Dave, has been in the military for 17 years, and we are very proud of that. We have two girls. My oldest is 10, Brooklyn, and Michelle there is 6. We live here in Brooklyn Park and have for the past 10 years. We are huge Vikings fans. We go to a game every year. We're hockey fans. Both of my girls play hockey. You can always find us at the rink around the year, or at the softball field or soccer field, raising two very busy girls. So anyway, so that's a little bit about me. Here's my wonderful team. Mr. Josh Agramson, he's our upper school assistant principal. So he works with grades 5 through 12, as well as Mr. Jeff Thomas. He's our dean of students for the upper school. Jake Jensen, he is our new college and career counselor. He is fantastic. He comes from years of experience at the college level, and so he just brings a wealth of expertise to our students as they are leaning into what their next steps are going to be. Andrea Shoup, she is our school counselor, so she works with students specifically more in the mental health area. And then Darlene Denmark Brown, she is our director of learning support services. And so if you have students that will be receiving services from LSS, she's going to be your contact information for that. So just to go into an academic overview, here's our high school schedule. Admissions may have already showed this to you, but we run on all of our classes will meet 3 days a week. They will be either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. As you can see, our Monday through Thursday classes are longer, and then all the classes meet on Fridays. Within this schedule, we have something called W.I.N time, and so I'll talk about that here in a minute. And then we have chapel every Tuesday, as well as has what we call D groups or discipleship groups on Thursday. And discipleship groups is really a time where your student will be placed in a small group of about 10-ish kids, same gender, same grade level. So if you have a 10th grade boy, he'll be placed in a 10th grade boy D group. They meet weekly, and they stay with the same group through graduation. And it's really a time for the group to get together, talk about, kind of dive deeper into what they learned in chapel that week, as well as just talk about life, and really diving deeper into their faith during that time. So just some very high school bits of information here. These are graduation requirements. As you'll see, we have updated our graduation requirements based on the new state requirements, as well as just some other initiatives that we have. So the class of 2029, so if you have an incoming 9th grader, the graduation requirements will be slightly different in that science area, as we now will be requiring 4 years of science rather than 3. And so each student takes 8 classes every year. Each one, or a year-long class is worth 1 credit, a semester class is worth a half a credit. And so you can earn a total of 8 credits per semester, or sorry, per year. And then you need a total of 30 credits to graduate. So you are all aware, our CCC, our College and Career Center team, is really great on doing graduation checks, meeting with students, and keeping tabs on whether or not students are meeting their graduation requirements, and ensuring that students are getting in the classes that they need to graduate. For students that are needing some more enrichment or interested in taking college level classes, we do offer several options. One option is advanced placement courses, or AP. Those are the classes that they do have an AP exam at the end of the school year in May, and that is what determines whether or not the student will receive college credit. We also have PSEO, or post-secondary enrollment. We have many of our students go through Bethel because we do offer some of those classes on campus. However, we also have students who choose to take online PSEO classes through the University of Northwestern, through the University of Minnesota. There's options out there. More to come on PSEO options, as students can't take those classes until they're a junior. And so the PSEO option is a large portion of the sophomore parent meeting that happens kind of around the January, February timeframe. Also, Project Lead the Way is a new option this year, and this is for students that are particularly interested in that STEM area. The class that we're offering this year is computer science. It's a year-long class. It's AP endorsed, and so they do have the end of course exam at the end of the school year. If they pass that, as well as meet the grade requirement, then we will help get that college credit through St. Cloud State. And that's a program that we are going to be growing over the next several years, as it offers computer science, engineering, again, just classes within that STEM space. So for some students, they may just want to take 1 or 2 classes, college level classes. However, we do have an option for students that are looking for more. We have a really great partnership with Bethel University, where students can earn their Associate of Arts degree. So it's a dual enrollment option, and that would begin in their junior year. So through their junior and senior year, they would actually be taking 60 college credits through Bethel. those credits would transfer to Maranatha as dual enrollment. So, for example, you may take a college composition class their junior year that would also count as their English 11 class. And so, anyway, that's a really great option. We have several of our teachers at Maranatha are now adjunct professors through Bethel. And so that gives a great opportunity for those classes to be offered here on campus. Some are online, but many of them are in person, which is a really great option. Again, all of that will be talked about in the sophomore level meeting, but if you have interest in that or have questions, the College and Career Center, Mr. Jensen, can help answer any of those questions. So academic support, there are several ways that we offer support to our students who need a little extra. And really college counseling, that's for everybody. Everybody along the way will be working with your student on doing interest inventories, and we have colleges that come here, college reps that come here weekly to talk to your student about just different options that those colleges offer, whether it's a 2-year, a 4-year, the military, just different things. And so really our CCC is a really great area as you are navigating kind of that post-secondary world. Mrs. Shoup is fantastic for social emotional counseling. Again, this is for students that are just, sometimes we just are struggling. Maybe we're overwhelmed or we have a friendship issue. Maybe there's something going on at home that is making it really hard, to just be at school one day. Mrs. Shoup is a great resource for that. Teachers also have office hours every week that they will post in Schoology, so students know when teachers are available, either before or after school if they need help. WIN time, I will talk about that here in a second on the next slide. We also offer peer tutoring. So for students who want to be a peer tutor, we have an application process and they can actually earn service hours for that. But that peer tutoring will take place either before or after school or during WIN time. And so that's a great option. And we also have learning support services for students that have, we have students here that have ADHD, that have dyslexia, that just have, diagnosed a diagnosis that requires some accommodations. And so Dr. Darlene Brown would be your contact for if you had questions in that area. WIN time. As I mentioned, teachers will still have office hours. However, WIN time, as you saw in the bell schedule, is a 1-hour block of time twice a week where, and it stands for What I Need. It's really meant to be a time for students to really get what they need. So for some students, they will be assigned a mandatory study hall. If they have a D's or F's in their classes, that kind of tells us that they need some time in order to get their work done. However, if they have C's and better, that kind of shows us that they're doing okay and they can kind of choose their own adventure. They can do gym time, they can go do intramurals, they can participate in a club. They can actually go to study hall if they want to, if they've got some stuff to do, if they've got a busy week and they want to get some stuff done. Again, they have that flexibility to choose what they want to do. Otherwise, for students that are struggling a little bit in their classes, they'll be assigned a mandatory study hall for them to get some work done. We'll also have intervention groups during that time. So more information to come on that. Students will have an orientation for WIN time the first week of school, so they'll hopefully get all their questions answered about how that time works. Parent communication, that school school to home partnership is really important to us. In the high school, probably the best mode of communication for families is Schoology. It's not always 100% up to date just because students turn things in, teachers need time to grade. However, Schoology is a really great option for parents to kind of get weekly updates on whether or not their child has missing work. Sometimes teachers leave comments on assignments like, hey, you didn't do this part, can you redo it? I would encourage you as a parent, get on the desktop version, not the app, because then you'll really be able to see any teacher comments or feedback that they give, student grades, that sort of thing. You can also use Schoology as a way to reach out to the teacher. We have regular progress reports at the quarter. We have our report cards come home at the semester, but then at the first and third quarter, we have progress reports that go home. Parent-teacher conferences, those happen a couple times a year. You'll get more information on those and how those work. We highly encourage parents to come and visit with their teachers. Also, Main Things is a weekly newsletter that comes home each week in your email inbox. And if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see a high school newsletter that you can click on and read everything that has to do with the high school. And so it's kind of a one-stop shop for upcoming events, for college and career center updates. For if you have a senior, you'll get updates, kind of like what needs to be happening at that time, retreat information, field trips, all that kind of stuff. So highly encourage you to make sure that you're reading those each week. We do have a service hours requirement. Each high schooler they're required to complete 35 hours for the school year. Those hours will be turned into their Bible teacher. When they get here in the fall, the Bible teacher will talk about the slip of paper that needs to be filled out for how to turn those in. As you can see, for students that go well above and beyond the 35 hours, we do have service certificates, and students can actually letter in service. So just a few policies that I want to discuss quickly. The first one is attendance. We feel it's really important for students to be here at school every day. The school day does start at 8:15. Students are expected to arrive on time and be here for the entire day. If you know that your student is going to miss school, please fill out the student absence form so that we know and can record that. And of course, the student, especially if you know that it's going to be an upcoming attendance, maybe you have a family vacation or you're going to be out of town or, whatever it may be, please make sure that your child is reaching out to their teacher or teachers to get that missing work. And just to be aware that we do have a policy in our handbook that talks about that if they miss so many days of school or per class, they will start losing a percentage of the grade. And really, they have to miss quite a bit. So it's nothing to worry about. And again, if there's reasons for it, please just communicate that to us. But if a student is just missing just to miss, that will start impacting their grade because ultimately it's important for the student to be here at school. And that's really important. Just a quick thing on dress code. Again, I'm sure this is something that admissions has talked a lot about, but we do have a dress code. If you want, the visual dress code guide on our website is a very helpful tool. You can see right there on the screen how to access that. And just to be aware that we do have out of dress code days throughout the school year. However, our modesty requirements are always expected, even on those out of dress code days. And that the kind of the outline of what that looks like is on that website. Monday through Thursday, we do require branded tops. And then Spirit Wear Friday is kind of any clubs or activities that those shirts don't fall within the branded dress code guide. Those can be worn on Fridays. Our cell phone procedure, this is actually going to be new for everyone this year. At the beginning of the day, all upper school students will be required to turn in their phones, and then they will get them back at the end of the day. If they come in late, they'll have to turn them into student services. Ultimately, the reason for this is that there's just a lot of research out there that shows that phone-free school environments support overall better academic performance, social development, and student well-being. And that's just really important to us. And so although we understand that most of our high schoolers do have a phone, they will need to go away for the school day. And just a couple notes on our school culture. This is our culture in action. We do have a culture in action board on our more of a wall where students will be they will be nominated throughout the school year, students and teachers, for exhibiting these character traits, and then their picture, and then a little description of what we see will go up there, because we really want to honor students that are, being leaders and are maybe doing a lot of service in the community, or just building a lot of great community. And so anyway, we're very proud of this wall, and it's really important to us as a Maranatha community to build that culture in action. And we love seeing more faces on that wall. Other ways that we build culture is we highly encourage students to attend sporting events, go get involved in fine arts activities, or join a team, join a club. We understand that all students have different backgrounds and giftings that the Lord has blessed you with. And we just encourage students to get involved in whatever space may be interesting to you. And that's also just a really good way for students to meet people as well. Finally, something else is just our leadership program that's being led by Josh Agrimson, our assistant principal. These are some photos from our annual student leadership retreat. And really the purpose behind this retreat is that we have leaders in all different areas, whether it's sports or clubs or other activities. And we find that that it's best when the leaders come together and are unified. And so one highlight from actually the leadership retreat happened last week. And one highlight is that Miss Black, she works in our College and Career Center. She asked the students what they would do if they had one day to live. She then pointed to Jesus, reminding them all that Jesus washed the feet of his disciples the day before he died, before he was crucified. Jesus's life was service, not to be served. And then they challenged the student leaders to kind of really examine the way that they lead and to be intentional about being servant leaders as they lead their teams or their clubs or things like that. And so it's really a great opportunity that as we build our leaders, that they come together. And then Mr. Agrimson and Miss Black, they meet with the student leaders throughout the school year. Well, I know that was a lot of information. Here is my contact information. Feel free to email me. That is my direct phone line into my office. And so feel free to either email me or call me. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And we are just so excited to have you all at Maranatha. And we'll see you hopefully next week at our orientation and open house. Have a good rest of your day.